User experience and design is essential to digital transformation, and today we're going to see how we can bridge that gap between design thinking and application development. Now today, in most organisations, developers build apps based on a set of business requirements, and they do it without any design or user validation, or very little at least. And this approach is flawed. The reason is that many projects fail or are rejected because of a lack of user acceptance. But also, change requests at the development stage can cost a considerable amount more than if they were flagged at the design stage. We also know that a large percentage of enterprise applications, including SAP, are customised or new solutions are created from scratch. For application development, SAP has PaaS, or Platform as a Service, on HCP. But based on what I've just mentioned, it's not complete. Now, SAP provide user experience as a service to augment that. At SAP, we call this Splash, and it's a gallery of applications to inspire. It's also a community to interact with other designers or business experts. And it's also a learning centre for useful tips as to how to design great apps. For example, how to sketch a storyboard. Now, Build is one of the first tools where SAP helps customers and partners quickly prototype new solutions, get feedback, and ensure you have a great user experience when developing apps. And this is what we're going to have a look at now. So now I'm tasked with creating a product catalogue, and I'm going to use those whiteboard sketches I learned how to do in Splash to create my first prototype. So I'm going to add some pages here. I'm going to add a freestyle page, or two freestyle pages. And then we drill into the page. And now I've already uploaded some of my sketches from my whiteboard session. I just drag and drop them over to the first page, and then do the same with the second page. And now I want to add some navigation in. So I'm just going to drag a hotspot over to the areas where I want to navigate and tell it what I want to do. So I'm going to navigate back to page 1, and then on page 1, I'm going to add a hotspot here. And I want to navigate to page 2. And then voila, we very quickly created an interactive prototype, a very low fidelity interactive prototype. Let's have a look at that now. So I can navigate between my screens using the hotspots we provided. Okay, so in user-centered design, it's important to get end-user feedback throughout the process. So what Build allows us to do is create a study to get initial end-user feedback. I give it a name. And I define a start and end task for my study, and I want them to navigate catalogue. I can also add some more user guidance in here, but I can click done. And now I publish that catalogue to end users. In here I could distribute it to a group of people via email, but in this case I'm just going to copy that URL and paste it into my page here. So now I'm taking on the role as somebody that I've asked, an end user that I've asked to provide some feedback on my initial prototype. Let's start that task. And now I can navigate between the screens. Also, I can provide some feedback. Perhaps I love the pictures, and some sentiment to go alongside that. And now if I navigate, I click here from, on this header item a number of times for reasons that we'll show in a minute. And then I want to navigate to my next screen, and perhaps I put some more feedback in here. Would be great to have details. behind the rating, perhaps. Okay, so as you get the idea, so now we're done and I can finish my task. Then I go back into my prototype, and we see now that we have a study created for this prototype. Let's go and have a look at it. So we quickly see some analytics around that. If I log on to the tasks and questions, I can navigate, I get some more detail, and I can navigate into the catalogue to see the end user comments. I see that I've got one comment on each of those, and it's been done by one person. But if I drill into the screen, I can show the annotations and see where they, which ones they relate to, exactly where they relate to on the screen. So I love the pictures here. If I navigate into the second screen, now not only can I see those annotations, but I also can show a heat map of where people have clicked. And you remember I was clicking a lot of times on the header column. Now even though the end user, in this case, didn't give us any comments there, we could deem from this heat map where users have been interacting with the prototype, and we could deem that they actually want to do some kind of sort or filter on the columns. So not only do we get the end user written feedback, we can also see how they're interacting with the solution. This one is a simple two-step screen, but we also have a page flow between the to see how the navigation patterns. Okay, so now let's go back into our prototype. So now let's go back in our prototype, and now we have the feedback. We can start creating a higher fidelity prototype based on that feedback that we had. So let's remove the page one here. And we will add a responsive page this time. And add a freestyle page back in. So now on this responsive page, I want to add some real UI5 controls. Let's add a table in here to mimic our product catalogue. And what we want to happen is when we drill on that, when we select an item, we want to navigate to our page 2. We also know that realistic data is critical to getting good feedback. Build offers provides the ability to create sample data in line or via XLS. So here I've already loaded an Excel data sheet in here, but I also can use the data editor to edit this data. And now I can drag and drop the key element of my data structure into the field, and we see that the table is automatically populated with the information. Now we can preview our prototype, and we see now that we've got the real UI5 control with some data in it, with some realistic data in it, and I can navigate, in this case, to my static screen, low fidelity screen. Now we could keep going and end up with a higher fidelity prototype, creating additional user studies at various points. But SAP Splash also provides a gallery of templates to Inspire that can be cloned and adapted. And I've identified one and adapted one based on the user feedback and added realistic data. So now let's jump forward to the end of the design process. We're happy with design, we have the right app, and it's been validated by our end users. Now we're ready to hand this over to developers. Instead of giving them a large set of business requirements documents, we can provide them with a working prototype with real UI code, sample data and images that they can import into their cloud development tool, Web IDE. Let's have a look at that. So go into Web IDE. So we're going to create a new project from a template. We're going to use a build project. Give it a name. I'm going to select my build prototype. And that imports the prototype with all the real UI code, the sample data, the images, and all the interactions into our into our development environment. We can have a look at the code, and now our developers can do the plumbing, the binding of the back-end data services. But let's have a look at how this will look. We can test our product catalog by drilling down on the data sheets, having a look at the reviews, and seeing the types of reviews that we had, information on reviews we had. So there we go. We've designed like a pro based on end user validation early to avoid costly rework. We've scaled user experience design skills within our organisation, reducing the need for those third-party service spends. And we accelerated application design and development through this integrated offering, drastically reducing the cost of developing applications and ensuring a successful project. You have the right applications, the right experience, and the right costs.